I've tried making this video so many times. Ananda Lewis was an it girl back in the day. She was a VJ on MTV back when people watched the show. She had her own talk show. She is connected to my story. The very first time I was on television as Perez, Ananda interviewed me. It was for this TV show called The Insider, and that interview helped me through one of the darkest periods of my life. This was in February of 2005, over 20 years ago. I had been blogging just a few months, and shortly after my interview with Ananda, where The Insider called my website Hollywood's most hated website, I went through a deep depression. I was working at Star Magazine and I hated it, but I felt trapped. I felt stuck at the job because they were paying me so well. So I stayed there, and every day I was getting worse and worse. Severe situational depression, but I mean severe. I would be in my shower for over a half hour every morning before work, just in the fetal position, because the feeling of the water on me made me feel alive. I had tunnel vision, and all I could see was my life in the future, and it was bleak. I had tunnel vision, and I kept on repeating the same scenario of me eventually moving back to Miami, a failure, being in a job there that I hated, and eventually ending my life if I didn't sooner. And I remember during this period calling my mother, crying, and my mother giving me tough love, saying, "Mijo, that's why they call it work. They don't call it happy." But that interview that I did with Ananda helped me to not give up on my little blog. I kept telling myself, even though I can barely function, I have to keep doing this. Because if my little hobby got me on TV once, maybe it'll get me on TV a second time. And that hope ended up being bigger than any fear. So I kept at it and I kept at it, and I will forever cherish that interview and forever cherish Ananda. She opted against traditional treatment for her breast cancer. That was her choice. She was just 50, it's crazy. She was just 52 years old and leaves behind a son who was born in 2011 and a daughter who is older. Fudge. Her daughter, Sydney, was born in August of 1999. Still so young to lose a mother, and her son is a teenager. Rest in peace, Ananda.